That's a good question. So when I first heard that something was wrong, I was working at a school in the Bronx, and I was actually working with some pre-K students. And when I heard the news that something was going on with Bryce's blood, we kind of knew right away what was going on. And I was with some students, and I thought to myself, how am I going to do this? I work with young kids all day, which would be a constant reminder that my own child was going through such tough things and that I wouldn't be there for some of it. But my wife and I, from the start, made a plan to make sure that we stayed positive, and we were able to get through that tough first period, that phase one, when we were living in the hospital for about 24 days. And then the next phase, we took one phase at a time, like you do in any stage of your child's life. We took one phase at a time and knew that each one would have challenges, and that we would have to learn how to deal with those challenges one at a time. As we got through and progressed, our biggest support was all the support that we had. We call it a tireless band of communities, because that's what it is. It's a bunch of communities that are not linked together, but they're linked kind of through us as the center. And with those tireless band of communities, we just fight each phase. And now that we're in a phase that's a little bit more relaxed, we're getting a chance to thank some of those people and get Bryce out in public so people could see how hard he's working. And then, of course, not forgetting about our son Kobe and making sure that he gets to do all the things that he wants to do. Math competitions, cubing, chess, flag football, whatever Kobe wants to do, we make sure it happens, and we just divide and conquer.
Yeah, you can't let one. There have been times where the non-sick siblings end up being, cast aside almost when something like this happens, especially something as serious as leukemia. It's like the focus goes on the sick child, and the other child gets almost left out in the dust.
Yeah,
it's the toughest thing to do.
Absolutely. So we've been able to ensure that doesn't happen, and that Kobe and Bryce are still doing whatever they can do.
Of all the challenges you had, what was the biggest one that really you had to overcome?
What would you say? The DKA? What do you think?
Yeah, the DKA and also like the steroids.
Which one?
The DKA and the steroids.
What's DK?
DKA?
It's like when your blood is too high, your blood sugar is too high.
Yes.
Blood sugars are too high?
Yes.
That's called by
so
steroids.
almost diabetic.
Yes. The toughest routine has been when Bryce is on steroids, his glucose number rises.
Yeah.
He has to monitor it with a Dexcom that you might even have on right now, right?
Yeah.
And yes, also yes. And then of course it requires insulin. So this phase that we're in now, he'll get 1 day of treatment per month, and then for 5 days he's on steroids. This morning was his last steroid, but then he feels the after effects from the steroids. It affects what he's able to eat. And unfortunately, one time we wound up in the hospital. Bryce's glucose was up to 650, wow. And the Clarkstown Police Department responded, and it was on the day earlier this year where we had a very big snowstorm, and the Clarkstown Police had to carry him out of the house because of the snow and bring him to New City Ambulance that was waiting with the ambulance, and that was a scary couple days because he was unconscious for a lot of it.
Wow.
And but as soon as the steroids were taken away, the diabetes goes away, and that's just So I guess the biggest problem for us was that day when we had to go by ambulance to several hospitals, and also the monthly routine of him taking the steroids and getting the diabetes every month, which goes away in a few days, but it's still a lot to deal with for those 5 days.
Now, a number of years ago, my wife's also a diabetic, and we were out at a unveiling, and she had an umbrella over her Medtronic pump was under her dress, everything was, and she's putting her insulin, went out to lunch with her brother and stuff, and then I had to go home because I had stories, I was on deadline, and The next morning, all over that night, she woke up throwing up 2 or 3 times. And she didn't bother to wake me. You know, doesn't bother to check her blood sugar. Called the doctor the next morning, did a teleconference, checked her blood sugars. It was off the scale on the monitor we had. Wait a minute, checked it again just to make sure it was a glitch. Nope. Got her to the hospital. They get her in. Her blood sugar was 1,067. What had happened
That's
was
400 more than you.
what had happened was, and she was conscious, totally, but what had happened was, and Medtronic never told us this, in the extreme heat, the insulin in her pump denatured. So when she was putting in insulin, she was putting in straight water.
Oh, wow.
You got to be careful with
Yes.
with the insulin in the heat.
Yes. Well, that's good for us to know because we are in the summer and
Yeah,
we are going out and about a
it
little
could
bit.
denature.
Okay.
So if you go out and about, keep it in a cooler or something.
Oh, okay, great.
Keep your insulin vial or whatever. The pens you don't have to, but the vials, keep it in a cooler if you're going out. Keep it cold.
Great. Excellent. Yeah, we'll definitely. That'll be our life for the next 2 years, right? So we'll keep
Yeah.
that in mind in the hot spells.
Yeah. So the diabetes, it's just a short-term thing each month?
It's a short-term diet. He basically, from the steroids, his blood sugar goes up and he gets the diabetes, but we regulate it with insulin. So it's just, he has it essentially 1 week every month. The other 3 weeks of the month, he's completely fine. No need for insulin, no Dexcom, anything like that.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to say to the general public?
Or Norchina.
Thank you all for supporting me, and I'm really grateful that you guys are watching this.
Neil, what about you?
Yes, thank you for your continued support in words, prayers, deeds. We really wouldn't be in the place that we're in today if it wasn't for so many people. It's hard to name everybody. It's impossible to name everybody. From other families we met at Sloan, like the Ryan family, and everyone that we've met ever since. Strangers have become good friends now, and we plan on visiting this event next year, the Norchina Golf Outing. We plan on helping out the Penguin Plunge and other organizations like Happy Jack, because now we know what it's like to be that family, and we want to put ourselves in positions where we can help other families as well.
Okay.